The 3 types of Leo. Which one are you based on your birthday? Have you ever wondered why some Leos are bold and commanding, while others seem softer, more nurturing, or quietly competitive? What if I told you that not all Leos are created equal? What if your birthday held the key to unlocking a side of you, even if astrology apps are missing? Today on Zodiac Whisper, we're diving deep into the secret layers of Leo. The 3 hidden archetypes you've probably never heard of but have always lived inside you. Because from July 23rd to August 22nd, something fascinating happens. Leo splits into 3 powerful subtypes, each shaped by a different cosmic force. The first burns with unstoppable confidence and a natural gift for leadership. The second radiates warmth, generosity, and emotional depth. The third, a force of inspiration driven by purpose and ambition. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one you are, based on your birthday, and more importantly, how to channel your unique Leo energy into your career, relationships, and personal growth. But here's the twist. One of these Leo types carries a secret, a spiritual tool that turns failure into fuel. And trust me, you'll want to stick around to the end to find out if it's you. So whether you're a Leo yourself or you love one deeply, this video isn't just zodiac talk. It's a journey into who you were born to be, not who others expect you to become. And before we begin, if you believe in the power of astrology, personal growth, and ancient wisdom made practical, take a second to like this video, subscribe to Zodiac Whisper, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that their light was never meant to be dimmed. Now, let's begin the journey to discover your faithful Leo. And trust me, it's not the Leo the world thinks it knows. The Royal Radiance, July 23rd, August 1. You weren't chosen to lead. You were born for it. Leadership isn't a decision for those born between July 23rd and August 4th. It's a natural state of being. These Leos don't follow the crowd. They don't raise their hands to be seen. The moment they enter a room, the atmosphere shifts. Not because they asked for attention, but because attention has always known where to go. There's something magnetic about them. Something you can't quite name but immediately feel. Maybe it's the calm command in their eyes. Perhaps the way they move with a grounded grace makes everything around them feel more certain. Their presence is a stabilizing force, anchored, solid, unshakable. Daniel, a Fortune 500 CEO born on July 25th, once said he learned more about leadership from silence than he ever did from seminars. He doesn't shout in boardrooms or dominate with force. He listens and waits, and when he speaks, it's with precision. Colleagues describe him not as aggressive, but as inevitable, like a tide that pulls you in without resistance. He doesn't demand trust. He simply makes you feel like it's safe to follow. That's the essence of Leo in the first decan. Confidence without arrogance, authority without ego. They don't need the spotlight. It follows them as naturally as sunlight fills a window each morning. It's not performative. It's elemental. But what most people miss is the quiet side of this leadership. Beneath the glow, there's solitude. Not loneliness, but chosen stillness. These Leos crave moments where they can hear themselves think and step out of the noise and back into their clarity. They aren't afraid of being alone. They recharge in it. In those quiet hours behind closed doors, long after the applause has faded, their next great vision begins to take shape. They aren't leading for admiration. They're not addicted to approval. They're guided by something more profound, a sense of responsibility, purpose, and knowing that their actions ripple through lives in ways others may never understand. This is why they lead with so much care. It's never just about them. It's about creating gravity for others to rise into. In a world obsessed with loud voices and viral moments, these Leos remind us that absolute power doesn't have to shout. It only needs to be felt. And you think of them, whether they're walking into a crowded room or standing quietly at the back. They radiate a kind of clarity that makes you want to listen, want to trust, want to believe. And still, they carry the weight of that light. People lean on them and expect them to have the answers. That pressure can be immense. But instead of crumbling, they draw strength from within. That's the gift of the sun. They don't seek warmth, they generate it. And when the world gets cold, they burn brighter. It's not always easy to be the one others turn to. There are days when even the strongest leaders feel lost. But these Leos don't lead because it's comfortable. They lead because, deep down, they know they're built for it. They know their fire can light the way, not just for themselves, but for everyone lost in the dark. What makes them exceptional isn't perfection, it's presence. It's the way they stay grounded when things fall apart. It's how they make others feel capable just by standing beside them. And maybe most importantly, it's how they keep coming back to themselves, time and again, no matter how far they've been pulled by expectation. They aren't here to impress, they're here to impact. And when they walk away, long after their footsteps have faded, the space they occupied still hums with the energy they left behind. Because that's what the first Leo is, not just a leader, a legacy. The Heart of Gold, August 2nd, August 11. Not everyone who gives is strong, but those who know how to give generously are masters of the heart. Leos born between August 2nd, August 11 carry something rare, something that can't be taught in classrooms or found in textbooks. It's a warmth that flows effortlessly, an energy that lifts people just by being near them. Like all Leos, they are ruled not just by the sun, but also influenced by Jupiter, the planet of expansion, hope, and generosity. And it shows. In every word they speak and gesture, there's a quiet desire to make others feel valued. But make no mistake, this isn't people-pleasing. It's soulful giving. There's a difference. These Leos don't give to be liked. They give because something inside them lights up when they can bring joy to someone else. Their generosity is instinctual, like sunlight touching everything in its path, not demanding gratitude, not seeking applause, just existing to illuminate. Take Amelia, an art teacher born on August 5th. Her classroom isn't just a space filled with paint and brushes. It's a sanctuary. Students walk in feeling invisible and walk out feeling seen. She remembers their birthdays, notices their silences, and somehow, even amid curriculum pressure and packed schedules, she finds the time to tell a student, "Your voice matters here." One of her former students, now a designer in New York, once said, "She didn't just teach me to draw, she taught me to believe I was worth drawing." This is what makes the second decan Leo so powerful. It's not their strength in the traditional sense, it's their emotional presence. They step into your life quietly and leave permanent marks of encouragement, kindness, and inspiration. And they often do it while carrying their battles in silence. There's a passage from Christian teachings that captures this perfectly. Those who give from love receive more than those who keep for themselves. It's not about grand gestures. It's about intention. These Leos are intentional with their energy. They don't give everything away because they've learned that everyone is thirsty if you pour from an empty cup. So, they've mastered something few ever do: boundaries with grace. They know when to step in and when to step back. When you lift someone and let them rise on their own, it's a kind of wisdom born from experience, the kind you can't fake. And because of that, people trust them deeply. Not just to help, but to understand. But this open-hearted way of living comes with its challenges. In a world that constantly pulls at your attention, compassion, and time, it's easy to become depleted. That's why these Leos must protect their energy like sacred currency. Not everyone deserves their light. Not every cause is theirs to carry. And they know this. They've learned that saying no is not a rejection. It's a form of self-respect. That rest is not laziness, it's renewal. The most generous thing they can sometimes do is to give themselves a moment to breathe. What makes them beautiful isn't just their kindness, their strength to hold space for others without losing themselves in the process. They are the friends who show up at midnight, the partners who remember the little things, and the leaders who ensure everyone feels included. But when they retreat into solitude, don't be surprised. That quiet is where they refill their spirit. It's where they reconnect with the joy that fuels their giving. In those soft, unobserved moments, they gather the strength to give again. Not out of obligation, but out of choice. And when they reemerge, they do so with light pouring out of them, unapologetically warm, undeniably radiant, unshakably grounded. They are the ones who make you believe in goodness again, not because they tell you about it, but because they live it. The Flame That Never Fades, August 12th, August 22. Those who are born to inspire don't chase the crowd. They become the reason it gathers. There's something unmistakable about Leos, born between August 12th and August 22. Their presence is a slow-burning fire, not the kind that flickers or fades with attention, but the kind that endures. Powered by Mars, the planet of action and raw energy, this third decan of Leo carries an edge, a relentless ambition, a desire not just to succeed, but to evolve. These are the Leos who refuse to stay still. They don't wait for momentum, they create it. Every step they take is a challenge to who they were yesterday. It's not about proving others wrong, it's about proving themselves right. Right about their potential, right about what's possible, right about the voice inside them that refuses to quit. But behind that drive is something more, something deeper. Take Kaya, a young athlete born on August 17th. At 19, she was set to represent her country on the world stage in gymnastics. Months before the qualifiers, she tore her ACL during a routine training session. Doctors told her the timeline for recovery was uncertain. Most would have paused, reconsidered, chosen comfort. She chose to fight, not for medals, not for the cameras, but because something in her refused to be defined by limitation. Every painful step of rehab, every early morning stretch, every quiet tear behind closed doors, it wasn't about coming back, it was about becoming more. A year later, she qualified again, and this time, not just as a competitor, but as a force of spirit. When asked what drove her, she said, "It wasn't about beating others. It was about not letting the hardest moment of my life become the ending of my story." That's Decan 3 Leo. There's a teaching in Buddhism that reads, "There is no greater enemy than the self left untrained." And for these Leos, that rings truer than most. They aren't just facing challenges outside. Their real battle is always inward, with the parts of themselves that doubt, delay, or diminish what they know they're capable of. The world sees their strength, the medals, the milestones, the moments that shine. But the world often misses the shadow they had to walk through to reach the light. These Leos are fierce, but they are also fragile in moments they rarely show. And that's why their growth isn't linear. It's messy, it's human. It's the long road of falling and getting up, again and again, not because anyone's watching, but because they can't rise. But there's a lesson they have to learn to reach their full radiance. It's not in the next achievement. It's not in breaking the next barrier. It's in surrender, not giving up, but letting go. Letting go of the need to prove. Letting go of the fear of slowing down. Letting go of the internal war that says you are only as worthy as what you accomplish. Because the truth is, their flame isn't brightest when they burn themselves out. It's when they allow themselves to be. To trust that even at rest, they're still powerful. That even in stillness, they're still inspiring. This is where the fundamental transformation happens. Not on podiums, but in the quiet decision to choose peace over pressure. To choose self-compassion over comparison. To understand that sometimes the most courageous thing they can do is stop running and just breathe. When they learn this, they don't just lead others, they liberate them. They show that greatness isn't about how hard you fight, but how deeply you know yourself. And in that knowing, they become unstoppable. Not because they are always in motion, but because they finally mastered when to stand still. Solitude, the secret strength of Leo. The light of Leo burns brightest in the moments no one sees. It's easy to associate Leo with performance, with boldness, charisma, and a desire to shine. And while that's part of the story, it's not the whole truth. Beneath the spotlight, behind the roar, a quieter force shapes every Leo, regardless of their decan. It's not applause, it's not recognition, it's solitude. The first Leo leads with presence. The second Leo uplifts with compassion. The third Leo inspires through ambition. But all of them, every one of them, must learn to retreat, to recharge, to return to their center. Because without stillness, their fire burns too fast. Without silence, their purpose grows noisy. This is the paradox of Leo. They're born under the sun, yet they crave the moonlit space where no one is watching, where their soul can stretch without expectation. You see it in the quiet habits they never talk about, the late-night journaling, the solo drives with music too loud, the meditative walks where they sort through dreams and doubts alike. These are not moments of escape. These are rituals of return. Returning to the self, the source, the spark that no one else can define for them. There's a reason every type of Leo eventually seeks solitude. Because public power means nothing without private peace. For all their confidence, the leader knows they must step away to stay clear. They recharge not with noise but with intention. Their vision isn't born in crowds. It's in the still hours when they can hear their intuition whisper louder than the world. The giver, so deeply in tune with others, must protect the boundary of their own heart. If they don't pull back, they dissolve into the needs of everyone around them. Their healing power comes from how well they know their limits, and from permitting themselves to rest, to create, to just exist. The inspirer, endlessly climbing, chasing, proving, must slow down long enough to remember that their worth is not in their wins. It's their willingness to face the parts of themselves that no one else sees. Solitude becomes their mirror, and only in that mirror can they find the truth beyond achievement. Philosopher Blaise Pascal once wrote, "All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone." Thousands of years before him, the Buddha taught, "Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without." In the words of the Gospel of Matthew, "But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your unseen Father. Then your Father, who sees what is done secretly, will reward you." Across time, across traditions, the message is the same. The sacred is found in stillness. For Leo, whose fire is so visible and vibrant, it's easy to forget that they need that sacred space more than most. They are here to lead, yes, to love deeply, to ignite movement. But none of that can sustain itself without time to reflect, recalibrate, and root themselves in something greater than an image, something real. So if you're a Leo of any decan, don't resist the silence. Don't fear the alone hours. That's not where your light dims. That's where it sharpens. That's where it stops flickering and becomes steady. And when you emerge from that stillness, you don't just shine, you illuminate. Lessons from the Lion's Path. So now you know, Leo is not just one story. It's a constellation of three powerful paths. The confident leader commands with calm certainty, the generous giver, who heals with light and quiet strength, and the driven inspirer, who rises repeatedly, fueled by purpose, not pride. Each one of these types carries its kind of brilliance. And discovering which one you are isn't about labeling, it's about liberating. It's about finally understanding why you lead the way you do, why you love how you love. Why do some parts of you shine in the spotlight and others glow in solitude? Here's what I want you to remember. You don't need permission to be who you are. You don't need a horoscope to validate your worth. But when you truly understand the energy within you and stop comparing in Star Connector, life starts to feel like yours again. As for me, I've walked this path too. I've wrestled with which parts of me were genuine and which ones I thought I had to perform. And it wasn't until I learned the rhythm of my fire that things began to align. Not overnight, but authentically. And I hope this video brought you closer to tournaments. If it did, if something resonated, even just a word or a whisper, please believe in it. Subscribe to Zodiac Whisper and share it with someone whose light you believe in. Because in this world, we don't need more noise. We need more truth. We need more people who know their fire and aren't afraid to let it burn. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, but most of all, keep listening to you.